Greetings, sisters. How are you? Sorry, if I sound a bit echoey. I'm in the studio right now. I'm going to be recording my podcasts, which I'm going to be releasing soon, and I'm going to advertise for you guys to check them out, please, and share them with every single person. Right. So, I really wanted to come on here, so you're going to see me like turn to the side sometimes, because I have some notes, so I don't over speech. I started this day by buying this beautiful beauty. I actually got this for a gift for someone. I saw it and I fell in love with it for myself, but I have enough succulents at home. And on top of that, I got it for this person because this person really cares about me, so they're not separate from whom I am, and they're an extension of me, they're an extension of my energy, they're an extension of my thought, because they're in my space. You know, when you interact with people, they're in your space, you've allowed them to be in that space, or they're there for a reason, and for that reason, I'm very grateful and I'm very thankful. So today, I'm giving thanks to that. I'm just going to pull out one of my books that I usually come for reference to. Just give me a second, guys. Where are we? Mars. Okay, cool. Just where are we as well? Mercury. So we got Mercury and Mars. So, ladies, I want to recap with what's has been going on since our last solar eclipse. I don't know how you guys have been feeling, but for me, I've been really in my head and really working with my subconscious and really working with understanding any karmic debts I have or any karmic ties I've had, so I can cut them. And so this year is literally a new beginning, because you want to flow with the current of the universe. You want to be, it's the year of the one, so that means it's a new beginning for every single living being, every single living life force energy here has a new beginning. It's just the cycles, you know, and it's the cycle has started again. So we've had solar eclipse was in Pisces, and Pisces is governed by the planet Neptune, and we know Neptune controls the weather, controls water. So what does that mean, and how can that manifest? So as you've seen, we had crazy weather. So we had was it Dorothy? We had the tornado, the small tornado, not really big tornado, but wind situation that was kind of strong, that was swaying us left, right, and center. But if we really understood what nature was saying, like one sister expressed to me, you know, nature's talking to us and telling us that it's shaking us up to get rid of those final debris, that we don't need those final things that don't serve us anymore. Get rid of those, shaking them off us, you know, dusting them off. And then we had rain, and we still have rain. It's not much rain, but it's like drizzle. So there's the water washing you away. That's why I've been urging a lot of people to drink a lot of water. Like, I just keep buying lots of water. I'm just drinking lots of water. I've set an alarm to drink water, because Neptune governs water. So you want to use that water to symbolize you cleansing yourself and bringing you more life force energy and fertility to get through this year, to get through the new things that you're bringing for yourself this year. On top of us having our solar eclipse in Pisces, which manifested in a lot of people feeling and being really inwards and deep in thought, we also had certain planets in Aries, which is the first sign. So Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and Aries is the first sign. So Pisces being the last sign. Also, oh yes, sorry to forget to mention that we won't have another solar eclipse in Pisces for another 18 years. So this was a really big one, because Pisces represents you ending and letting go of those things that don't serve you anymore, and being reborn through the waters of Pisces and coming into Aries. Aries will give you the energy, you know, the energy to move forward through to Taurus, which is where you grow, you plant your seeds, because it's an earth sign. And then you move into Gemini, where you communicate. So it goes, the story of the zodiac explains nature in itself, the best way to put it. So we had Mars, and we had Venus, in Aries at the same time. We had Uranus in there. So manifesting down here, you probably guys are manifesting in different ways. So you have a Venus in there, which she's now in retrograde. A lot of people from your past are coming in. It's a time for closure, not a time to highlight your ex or anything like that. No. It's a time for closure and a time to come at peace with everything that has happened from past relationships, with any type of form of relationships that you have formed during your time so far. And then you had Mars in there, and what else would you have in there? Did I say Uranus? So Mars being in there, it was in a square aspect, so that means it was very challenging aspect. So you have a lot of arguments, people being very impatient, you know. You know, you could be like, what was it? You could be just waiting for, you could just be waiting, you know, for those who drive, be waiting at a light and it's just turned red and someone behind is already beeping you. That's the kind of stuff that might happen and how it might manifest in itself down here. But you having this awareness, all it is just you have to go inwards and understand that everybody is in their own journey, in their own process, and they're trying to figure out what's wrong with them. Why are they feeling this way? Why are they feeling this weight that's on them? So that's what was going on, and now people are going to start to feel more lighter as we come into Aries season. Hey, Aries season! You know, as the planets move out of there, the moon moves out of there. It's really way out of there. I think the moon is already in Leo already right now, because it changes every 2.5 days. It goes into a different constellation, but yeah. Into a different sign, sorry. Yeah, so that's the recap of what was going on with the new moon. I hope you guys have been planting as well, because new moon represents planting your ideas and your seeds, and meaning that it's the year of the one, your thoughts will manifest like this, you know, just like this, because it's new beginnings. You have to attune to these energies and make sure that you use them onto your favor. So what I did after the workshop that we attended, from that day, which was a solar eclipse, every day, that day I started off by writing what I would like to plan for this year, and also what I would like to release. I've been doing a lot of forgiving. I've been forgiving myself, and I've been forgiving others, and understanding why I'm forgiving them, and, you know, really understanding that, hey, maybe there's certain things they're going through that, you know, that anger wasn't really personal to me. It was just about them, and they don't even know how to help themselves. And at that time, when obviously any situation that might have happened when both of us didn't understand themselves, but now that I do, I can reflect back and be like, you know what, no, that wasn't even, I acted very wrong. I should have acted in a different way. I can't control anybody else's action, and that's okay, because they have a will. They're allowed to do what they need to do to grow. And I have no right to say you're doing that growth wrong, you know. So I can only ask for forgiveness for myself, for my higher self. You know, I don't believe in God outside of me. I believe in God is me. I am God, and I have a higher being, you know. We just like energy, just like energy. If you compress it, you know, you can start to see what it is, so it becomes physical. But if it speeds up, it becomes something that your eyes don't move fast enough to even see that speed of light. Yes, I just wanted to put that out. It's an over talk. So yeah, so we're now going to be coming into a full moon in Virgo. So yeah, going back into what I was saying, every day since the new moon, I've been writing on a piece of paper what I want to come into play. So every day I write the same thing. I put the paper to the one side, I put my green adventure crystal in it. The next day I write the same thing. I don't look over that paper, I just write it in a different way, but I'm still planting that seed, and I'm tending to it, and I just piled it up. So on the new moon, on the full moon now, I'm going to burn all those papers, and basically that represents me putting it solid into the spirits, because fire represents spirit, and full moon represents receiving your manifestations. And this full moon is amazing because it's a full moon in Virgo, and Virgo is earth sign, so physical manifestations are due to come, and some of them have happened already. I'm already teaching at the prisons for men, which I wanted to do last year, and I finally got the opportunity to do that. I left my job, and opportunities have opened up for me that, like, in a week, you know. So This year I really want to travel and I really want to make that happen, and it will happen. It will happen because I'm working very hard on it. Like, I'm working very hard on myself. So the universe is attuning, and it's been sending me signs. I saw a crow, and you know, crows represents new beginnings, because all death is new beginning. Amongst, also it does represent death, yes, don't get that wrong, but it also represents new beginnings. I've been seeing the number 444. I saw the number 444 again today. I screenshotted that. I've been seeing the number 111. I've seen it like over so many times. I saw it again this morning. So, and every time I see those numbers, I say an affirmation. I give thanks, you know, or I drink water. And when I do all these things, I'm attuning to those energies that are around me. I know that right now I'm floating on earth that's on top of water. I know in my body there's water. So when I do that, I give thanks to those energies that I might not understand with the mind that I have right now. But every day I also ask to expand my mind and to bring all fortunes in all my activities, which we're going to some of those affirmations. So yeah, we have the full moon in Virgo. So that, I can't remember the date of the full moon, but it's soon, because when I look at the moon, it's soon to come. So I'll be Saturday or Sunday, but I'm not too sure. But I will put the date down after this video. And we have Mars moving into Taurus. That's my sign, Indiana sign, because we're both Tauruses. So Mars moving into Taurus is going to give us a lot of energy. And that means anybody who's a Scorpio as well, which is 180-degree polar opposite, is actually going to be high amplified, because you have to see it as a seesaw. So whatever sign, let's say Mars is in this sign, that's going to go up, that's also going to be affected. So Scorpio is going to be affected. So we're going to have a lot of energy in there, fertility in there. And for the affirmations I'm going to be using, because Mars is going to be in there for about 2 months, I'm going to be using this affirmation here, which I'll read out. It's a spiritual affirmation. This is what I use for my astrology guys when I'm doing readings. It is called The Psychology of Astrology by R.V. Bay, if you guys are interested in learning yourselves. And the spiritual affirmation for that is: make my actions productive, positive, divine, and rewarding. And what is Taurus? Taurus is the sign of your personal possession, so your money, your personal finances. So you have Mars in there, which shining that energy into it. So this is a great time for you guys to start to see your manifestations come physical, you know, and especially for Tauruses, we're going to start to see some physical manifestations, because you have energy in your sign of personal possessions, and not only just money, but other personal possessions that you have. But be careful with I'll check the aspects that Mars may be in, because if it's not in a good aspect, then you could face some challenges or fun activities, as I like to call them, because you grow there. We're going to move on into manifestations. So we know that this is a manifestation group, and I see a vision of us interacting. And the reason why me and Indiana did this group, because we understand that women, we have power collectively, and whether you want to believe this or not, or you're very unsure about it, it's a shaken belief. Let it be a knowing and an understanding. A belief is something that brings doubt. Let it not be doubtful, because you bring a spiritual entity into the waters of Nu, or the waters of Pisces, and you birth that spirit out in a physical form into this plane. So you're aligned between the spiritual and the physical. They come through your waters of Pisces here onto Earth. So you have to understand that alone has some power in it, and us ladies have to use that to bring forth our manifestations and encourage each other to do so. So what I wanted to speak about is, be confident in your manifestations. Be confident at all time. And when I mean be confident as well, be the God of your manifestation. What do I mean? Be the generator of your manifestation, be the operator, and be the director of that, be that God. So don't let anybody just sway you left and right when it comes to anything that you want. And what do I mean by this? I'm a type of person, I believe what you put out in the universe will come back to you tenfold. So when I have ideas, I like to share them out with people, X, Y, and Z, which has its positives and I guess has its negatives. So I I share out my ideas and speak to people, and my friends are very lovely and kind. That's why they're my friends, or you wouldn't be my friend. They would say things to me which comes out of fear, but they don't understand, because I'm the only person who has to reflect all those things they say to me. And it's not their mean things. It could be like, oh, this could happen, or, are you sure? All this doubtful thought, then now you carry it into your mind, into your psyche, and then you start to question that idea that you were sitting for 48 hours on your bed, writing down the whole plan, writing down all the challenges that you might face, and on top of that, writing down how you will solve those challenges. So you've written your whole plan, from A to Z, like you've not missed nada. And then people start to, bring this add on to the ideas, but then at the end of the day, you are the last person to adopt it. So when you get home, you need to do a cleanse and a detox, and then reflect on the information they're giving you. Is it worth taking it on, or is it worth just filtering it off? And appreciating that they come from a place of love, and not allowing their illusions to be your illusions and turning them into fear. And I love this thing that Will Smith had said on After Earth, I think it was. It goes, danger is real, but fear is an illusion. So when you have certain anxieties and certain fears about what you want to do, or the ideas that you want to take, and you share it with people, which you should, because when you share, you clear your throat chakra, so it doesn't manifest in any disease. And for me, I'm a Taurus, and we govern the throat chakra, so I have to share. And I don't want to hold on to things there for it to cause any issues on the physical level. So be very cautious, not to allow them to affect you deeply. Understand that it comes from a place of love, and they don't share the same vision as you. Matter of fact, their path is not the same as you. They were not born into the same womb that you were born through, and even if they were not born at the same time the sun was rising when you were born, so you have to understand that their destiny is different. And if they bring on their fears onto you, detox, take on what's going to make you stronger, and allow what's not going to make you stronger, filter down, and just allow it to be. Death is part of the cycle too, and allow it to take place. What did I want to say? I've already spoken about Venus retrograde. The triple goddess phase, I wanted to speak about that. So that I do Egyptian yoga, and the triple goddess phase I wanted to introduce today because it's Women's International Day, which every day is, by the way, ladies. It's just today we collectively acknowledge that as one. So triple goddess phase, which I'll record the postures for it, but today I just want to talk about the theory behind it and the principle behind it, I should say. Sorry. So you have Nut, which is which you would see if you write on Google, N-U-T, Nut, which is the goddess, a sky goddess, they would describe her. And you see Nut is seem to swallow Ra, which is the sun, and birth Ra again. So that's how you have day and night. So she basically is the night. Do you know? Yeah. This basically is the night, and so day comes when she gives birth to Ra again and swallows Ra, the night comes through. So how does that manifest in other terms? Nut also represents expansion. So you want to bring expansion into your life. You want to think about the areas in your life where you can expand, and that means, yes, coming out your comfort zone, ladies, because that's the only way you're going to grow. How do you expect to grow if you're already someone who already know everything? If you know everything, like, how are you going to grow? There's no, you have to always expand and venture out. So the goddess Nut represents us doing that, and when you engage this posture as well, you do feel an expansion in your muscles, in your hamstring, because it allows you to stretch completely, making you feel so alive. Best way to describe it. And then we have the next goddess is Ma'at, and that's the signature posture for the Egyptian yoga. And Ma'at represents balance, justice. And once you've acquired some expansion, you need to bring balance into it, because you live in a world of duality. You live in a world of duality, so there is the good and there's the bad. There's the positive charge and the negative charge. There's electrical and there's magnetic forces here, so different opposites, the south, there's north. So you need to bring balance into both. That's where peace lies here. when you have that balance, when you incorporate that balance, you know. So that's why you have the 42 laws of Ma'at, which you can just find online. You might find like little posters, but the 42 laws of Ma'at, I'll post them here as well when I do the posture. And when you do Ma'at as a posture, you have to make sure you bring balance onto your shoulders, and it's a good one for strengthening your shoulders, but also it's a form of reflexology, an ancient form of reflexology. So and it requires you to bring balance onto your stance on the mat. And the next goddess, which she has three phases, three elements onto her. So you have Osset. So you have Osset's divine intuition. So once you required expansion, you've come into balance, you now step forth into your intuition, you know, into your higher self, and that's one form of it in itself. And then you take a seat onto your throne, so which is called Osset's divine throne. And then after Osset's divine throne, you give yourself Osset's divine embrace, and Osset's divine love. So she's the principle of love in itself, love, self-love, and love of others, and compassionate for others. So today, incorporating those three in one, and how can you play that out? So today, I like read something or do something that, you know, or learn something new, do something different that you didn't do yesterday or you won't do tomorrow. So that brings expansion. And then bring balance, maybe, you know, do some exercises or do some deep breathing, do some nasal breathing if you have to. Go outside and speak to nature, or just be amongst nature. Do some forgiving, do some writing, anything that will bring peace in an area of you. So exercise can bring peace because it releases stress and encourages endorphins. Being in nature makes you very calm and clear, and brings clarity to your mind. And when you allow to forgive, you start to vibrate higher. So then there you go, you bring in balance. And then you want to bring love. You want to love yourself, truly love yourself, understand yourself. Look in yourself in the mirror and really stare and understand this is you. You chose this beautiful body to exist in and to express the spirit that you have and this soul that you have, and take play on that. And in that, once you grow that self-love within, it's going to start to pour out onto others. You know, and then now you can show compassion for others. You can be understanding for others because you show compassion to yourself. You are understanding to yourself. And in saying that, ladies, I'm going to get going. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry I didn't get time to do the postures like I would have liked to do them, but during the coming week I will post those goddesses. So it was Nut, Ma'at, and Osset. And I hope everyone's okay. If you have any questions, you just want to have a chit chat with me, do comment, or you can email me at SpectrumOfSalome@gmail.com, or you can just message me on Facebook. No long thing. Anyway, sisters, have a lovely afternoon. Remember, drink some water. We're still in Pisces season. Drink some water and take some deep breaths. If you even need to stick your head out in the window for 60 seconds, do so. Okay. Peace and love. Hotep.